my friends, Denise here from Seuss Art, and today we're going to pair graphite watercolor paint, water-soluble graphite, and gouache on Yupo. Now, some of you may remember this image. I gotta peek to see if I'm in frame. Okay, yeah, so it was to be all blue to begin with, and then because it's a doodle and it's mine, I can do whatever I want. So I'm playing with stuff. I'm playing with things I'm learning, self-teaching, and reading a lot of books. Okay, reading a lot of books. Oh my God. And it's the reading of the books, which is way out. Oh, hi. That's Sparty. His full name is Sparty Spartacus. And he's a big boy. He's a big boy. He's got a twin sister, but she's 3 times bigger. She's a blessing. She's got a little asthma, but she's huge. She's huge. And his 2 other twin sisters are jet black. And one's a runt, and the other is... I have words. I love them all. All right, guys. Without further ado, let's do this thing. Yupo paper. The price has really come down since I first started using it with alcohol ink and stuff. But it's like it's magic when you want to play, when you want to learn, when you want to discover things. You know, so it's worth the $12 for 12 sheets. You know, buck a sheet. Come on, you know, you can cut them, do little ones, whatever. Alright, my friends, so without further ado, let's do this tanga. I'll flip you. Hi friends, Denise here from Seuss Art, and in my last 2 videos, I was playing with graphite. Let me get it. See how prepared I am? Alright, I was playing with graphite. And what I discovered about graphite, of course it's graphite that you turn into a liquid and you push it around. I don't know how it works on watercolor paper yet, or canvas. I have not done that, but I'm using Yupo because I know the effects I can get in Yupo, and I was curious about what I could do here. And using graphite, I was also able to erase for my highlights because it's graphite. Whatever. Alright, I found that this blue literally turned this gorgeous cloud gray just by buffing on it with a cloth. So there's a lot that can be done with this stuff on Yupo. But what I see in looking at this and is that this is going to make an awesome medium to mix with my gouache. Most especially for areas where I want to bring out highlights in the future and areas that I want to add shade. These are beautiful colors for shade. Gorgeous. And sky, you know, your sky clouds and stuff. So this was a learning experience, as all my doodles are. I'm teaching myself something. So I want to apply that thinking to this doodle. This is gouache on Yupo, and I'm having a ton of fun. And I was going to do this off camera, and I realized when I started laying the colors in and knowing how they were going to change as I went down, I thought you needed to see that, all right? Because it's graphite. Who knows? You know, maybe, you know, this is Yupo. I don't know how this would work on watercolor paper, but that's for another video, and we will do it. All right, so let's get into this. And that's not to say I won't do an intro, because I really like to look at you guys or you know, have you see me and my my oldness. But so I have a barely damp. I'm using one of these. See? Ooh. And what I did was I pulled the first color, which is autumn brown. She looks a bit red, right? She's very red. She's like one of those notes that don't make any harmony in the picture, but she's not going to stay like that. We're going to change her. So when I put her down, I just wanted to see the original color. So I'll do the same exercise with you guys. Again, I'm barely damp. Ooh. And I'm gonna go ahead and do that over here. And I'm gonna continue down. And again, in my mind, I'm just seeing organic shapes. Just the beauty of nature and in what my brain sees. Now you notice how the color is changing, right? As any color would when mixed with other colors. But I'm getting some beautiful grays with a hint of those colors on top, right? So I can take the same brush with all that mud and go back up here and tone this down just a little bit. Not too much. We can always go back in there and make all sorts of stuff, and we will. We are just bringing the harmony of the colors a little closer to. Well, something that pleases your eye, right? Now, as I go into the green, it becomes another beautiful, gorgeous color. And I'm going to take that right out here. And again, I'm going to go over here and tone this down a little bit. I'm not cleaning my brush. Still a wee bit damp, and it has all those other beautiful colors there. And I can take this into this yellow. I'm thinking about the direction that all of this is going, and when it makes sense to change it. If that makes any sense. I know people say you should never show your doodles, but when I'm doodling, perhaps I'm using the wrong word. I'm always experimenting. That's, to me, that's doodling. That's like taking a few hours and just not really caring about the outcome, but more into what's happening on the paper. What's going on? How cool is that? And just wanting to take that doodle to the next level, you know, take it to a different place. That's kind of where I'm at, and that's why I love to share my doodles, because you could benefit from this too. I mean, now our brush is just a bit too dry, so I'm going to go back in. I love this color. It's great. It is great. And get a little brightness up there. And remember, you can go into graphite with an eraser. This is really cool. Very, very cool. I would like just a hint of that color. So I'm going to put graphite autumn brown on one side of my very, very almost a dry brush, and then I'm going to add some rustic, which leans green to the other side. So I've got two colors loaded on here. I know you can't see them. I'm going to start with the rustic brown and turn my brush and go in with the other color, the autumn, whatever that thing is. Then I'm going to take all of these colors on both sides of the brush and open up some spaces in there that are starting to get a little take all that down. I know I'm getting quiet, it's so weird. But this is so amazing. So I'm just gonna do a tiny bit more with y'all today. And I'm gonna focus on this area right here. And I think what I'd love to do is get some cups. Let's see how that would work. I want to bring you to the action, but I have cups. Let me get cups. This is me getting cups. That's the noise of a baby. That's the cups complaining they don't want to come out. They've been there for 4 years. Oh, what? 4 years is a long time. Okay. This was back in my, I had these because I used to pour a lot. My first exploration, well, let's say, first exploration, watercolor. Second, acrylic. Third, acrylic pours. Fourth. Fourth was alcohol ink. Fifth, acrylic manipulation. 6, oil. 7, I'm back at watercolor, but gouache. So yeah, I'm living my life story. I love it. All right, I will be back on momentito. I've got you close to the camera. I'm really excited. So yeah, Pete, it's a real thing. Be right back. So one thing I didn't think about, of course I'm not ready again, is my water and my dabber. So now that that's all been applied, I am going to go in again to this this red brown. It's autumn or whatever, autumn brown, whatever it is. And I want to kind of get it in other areas. Now we're gonna go in and mess with this, so have no fear. I mean, anyway, you got nothing to fear. This is really cool. So already the color has changed because we went into some very intense blue areas that have, I would say, quite a few layers of blue on there. So I'm kind of dragging out some highlights here for a second. And now I want to take that color over here. I am very, very lightly touching the paper. Barely touching the paper. Trying to get you in as close as I can. Ma, don't look. Alright, so it's not. Sorry guys. I'm doing my best for you. Now, I think it'd be really cool. Get a really, really dry brush. Really, really dry. And kind of start bringing out some more highlights in here. Really just kind of open this up. Now this is, I'm going into the gouache here, so I know it's going to take a damp brush. Very forgiving. Let you basically do whatever it is your mind's eye wants. And because I'm learning about, I'm gonna get a little water here. I think a damp pad would work really well in this instance. I really do. I think just like a damp pad. Something you could dip your, yeah. I'm thinking on it. And take a little bit of this. And throw it out here. I'm gonna mix with the blue. This is Gouche-Graphintint, again mixed with gouache. And adding a little bit of texture to whatever the heck that is back there. I have no idea. But I like it. Nice. Nice. Do you see that, guys? I'm quiet because it's doing things that my mind would love to draw on here, and it's happening, so I'm happy. Ooh. So this is a bit dark right up here, and I like it, but let's just lighten this up a little bit. Not a lot, just doing little things, just letting that brush go wherever it wants to on it. And again, I'm going to emphasize I am barely touching, barely touching. You can't see. I am barely touching. I'm just letting the tips of the brush go where I want them to. Oh, it's very nice. So you see? So if you think about this piece in its totality as a doodle, it's got a long way to go. I'm going to continue to teach myself how to use this medium and how to enjoy all this stuff. So now I want to go in with what I'm thinking is their deepest green. Yeah. There's a green gray, and then there's this green, which is slate. So that's right here on the end. So again, a very moisty, dry brush. Very dry. Very dry. I just kind of want to see the effect. And as predicted, this stuff is amazing. It's so funny. I saw this happening in my head as a possibility because it's graphite. And then I'm like, oh shit, let me put that into practice. It's amazing. And I love this. So that is the deepest green, just blending with those gorgeous, what's it called? Autumn browns. And I'm going to do a little bit over here. I just love this. This is so much fun. See, the thing is I'm going to be doing this all day, and I wish I could share this with you all day, but I can't. Nobody likes a long video. So I'll just bring you in when I've got a bunch done, and we'll go do an area. How's that sound? Alright, my friends, this video's gone too long already, so let me straighten you out. Again, what we worked on today, we took, it's called Autumn Brown from the Graphite palette. This is the Graphite palette. It's graphite paint. And we applied the Autumn Brown, which ended up being a very, very bold color. And we quieted her down and then applied other graphite colors to begin creating our shading. And what I love about this is that because I know in thinking about the graphite, I think it's going to be a fantastic shading property for whatever project you have, because all of the colors seem to fit perfectly for that. And we darkened up this because I don't know what she's going to be yet. She was a white flowers, but I'm thinking, well, yeah, well, she's going to match something else. And so in showing that Autumn Brown, what I did was I took her down to the gouache, which reactivated the gouache, which then in turn changed the tone. And we end up with these beautiful landscape, like organic rocky figures or whatever it is. Who knows what it is? And I think as a tool for doodling, this is the bee's knees gouache. And we also took graphite green up here, and the Autumn Brown, which of course I didn't work on that. She's just standing out like a high note. Everybody else is singing. Ooh, That's color harmony in my brain. I think that's what's helping me absolutely understand what I'm doing anymore. I love it. You see them as notes. I literally saw a video, and he had these little squares, little squares, little tiny squares, and each square was a color, and each square was a note. And then all of a sudden, go, hey! It woke me right the fuck up. Not a kid-friendly show, but so yeah, that woke me up. I'm gonna do the cups, guys, but I think I'll tape them to the bottom, and then or glue them to the bottom or whatever, and put 4 of them on there so they're secure. We can just slide around under this camera. I love it. All right, my friends, this is all we're gonna do on this piece. I'm gonna do a lot more. I'm just not gonna keep you. And when I find an area that I have not touched, that I really want to show you this, I'll make another video. And if not, I'm always going to leave a spot. So I will leave a spot at the end of this video, because I barely touched the surface of doing the things I want to do. Look at that tree. Come on now. Yes. It's coming. Alright, this is Denise from Ciao Bella, and I love you, Mommy!